Falter Rove go Fila, Fiha, Fiha. You're all very welcome to Fila 2020. And because of COVID, we know that some of the events which we normally hold are being held through the social media platform. Tonight, in conversation, we have James McClean. James is someone, in my opinion, needs no introduction to a Derry audience and indeed an audience further afield. But for us, first and foremost, he's a Derry man. He played for his home club, Derry City, and then he had and has a very successful career in England, playing for Sunderland, Wigan, West Brom, and currently with Stoke. And of course, he has been capped for Ireland 65 times. So, James, you're very, very welcome tonight. And if I could begin, just be reflecting, as I say, you know, when people see he's very much as a Derry man, born and reared in Craigan, went to school in Craigan. I'm just wondering, what was your early influences in life? And, you know, just if you could maybe talk about just football, and when did you sort of sense, you know, that you had not only a sort of willingness to play football, but you certainly was something which you were going to become very, very, excelling in later life.
Can't believe, first off, when you got me caps wrong. I'm on 74, not 65.
74, I must check.
74.
Very good, very good. Somebody told me 65. Very good. That's brilliant. You can nearly hit the record.
Well, that's the aim. That's just the long-term aim. But no, look, just obviously, look, football in there is obviously, you know, it's number one sport. It's a major sport, and you know, it's a bit different nowadays because, you know, when we were growing up, like, you know, football in the street was just, you know, there were a lot of street footballers, and you were playing from no age. It's sad in a way. You don't see that kind of no more. You don't see young kids running around with a ball in the street no more. You know, playing against all the streets, kicking the ball against the walls. You know, my early influences was going down to the Bishop's Field, you know, with a ball and hoping that someone needed a spare man, and you know, just, you know, playing the Bishop's Field was like playing at the Aviva or Lansdowne Road as it was then. You know, if someone gave you a side playing against older lads, and that, you know, that was brilliant. Do you know what I mean? You wanted to kind of just play football at every opportunity, and it all kind of stemmed from that, really. Even to this day, you know, I still think I've got that kind of street footballer mentality in me, and that was my education and ambition in the game growing up. That's where that came from.
And who was the first club that you played for in Craigan?
I've always been a Trojans man.
Trojans man.
From under 10s right through until obviously senior football. You know, I've always been a Trojans man. A lot of good managers, good coaches there throughout my time. Jerry Cahoon, and then it would have been Raymond Curtin. Raymond Curtin would have been kind of the mainstay, the kind of the manager I had longest. So Raymond's obviously had a big influence on my career. Like I said, I like to think, especially given it's a Craigan club, kind of stay loyal. The Craigan thing, and I've been with Trojans, well, right through, really.
So it's a case of Trojans till I die. Is that the song?
Always been, that's it. Trojans till I die, you know.
And tell me this, I mean, obviously, I mean, all of us, I mean, anybody who ever kicked the ball, I mean, some of us kicked it wrongly, but if you know what I mean. But was Derry your first ambition? Was Derry the sort of thing you're saying to yourself, I want to play for Derry?
Oh, of course. I think any aspiring football from Derry growing up, a young lad wants to play for Derry first and foremost. You know, that's the realistic ambition. Obviously, look, everyone wants to play in the Premier League and play for Ireland and that, but I think the realistic ambition was, you know, is to play for Derry City. You know, not many kind of, if they're being true to themselves, kind of see the other dream of becoming a reality. But I was lucky enough, in my case, that happened for me. But like I said, the realistic ambition. You want to play for your hometown club, and that was always my ambition growing up. I would have been, look, if I had to just play for Derry my whole career, then to me that would have been a success. So luckily I was able to do that also.
Yeah. And see, when you went into the Derry sort of setup, who was the people like when you were going in? You were saying, "Well, here's who I am. Here's who I would."
I went on. I went on the Derry City setup when it was very successful. That was a team that off the back of the 2006 European run against PSG, and that teams that was lost the league, and Gold Dubmers won the FA Cup. It was a very good team. The likes of young Kevin Deary there, Rory Higgins, Mark Farn. Then you had the Dublin lads like Clive Delaney and that. So that was a team full of winners. And as a young lad, you couldn't rest your laurels, and you couldn't go on and just, if you weren't at it, I was only just turned 18 at the time when I joined that side, and going on, like, if you weren't up to the standards, you were certainly told about it, and that helps. I think nowadays it's a bit different. Like, you can't really be too hard on young lads nowadays, because it's a different mentality in the game, and it's almost kind of seemed to be bullying. So it's in a way, like, it's definitely a different education. So, but I think definitely it helped me, especially developing that kind of winning mentality.
And can you mind your first appearance? I'm going to test now. You've already pointed out I got one fact wrong, so I'm afraid I got this one wrong as well. So can you mind your first game?
I can. I wasn't expecting to play. I was told I was on the squad, and I was just over the moon to be in the squad. Even like this being on the bench was just unbelievable. But I remember walking down. It was, it's a well-known story. Walking down Southway with my bag over my shoulder, and I got in the dressing room, and Stephen Kenny put the team on the board, and I was in the starting lineup against Bows, who were the dominant force at the time. Quarterfinals of the League Cup, and I was playing, and not a lot of people knew who I was, and I didn't even the name in the back of my jersey. So it was a bit mad, and I actually ended up scoring the first goal and scored my debut, and we beat them 4-1, and it was
brilliant.
That was take off from there, really.
Did you run back up south of them? Did you
run back up? Big Studsies gave me a left back.
And
legs were a bit tired after it.
Yeah. I mean, I would have been a regular at the Brandywell, still am, and I mean, I everybody minds you bursting on the scene, and there's always that great sense too that a local lad, everybody would know you, your family, and everybody. But you certainly, when you come on, like, you hear people talk about bursting on the scene, but you certainly, the most noticeable thing was your energy. You were always someone. I'm sure every manager, and reading some of the stuff even over the last, there's that sort of sense that you give more than 100%.
That's come from obviously just the ambition of being a footballer. You know what I mean? I've seen it with so many lads, young lads in Derry. Like, obviously Derry's got a bit of a drinking culture and this and that, and it's kind of been a downfall for a lot of youngsters, especially from Derry. But for me, from the outset, like, I wanted to give myself the best opportunity. So I've always loved kind of clean lifestyle, total work as hard as I can. I've got a motto. Like, my motto is, anybody can fail on talent. Don't fail on hard work, and that's kind of been always my motto. Give it more than 100%. Give it everything you got, and it'll give you a chance. Like I said, not everyone's blessed with talent. Sometimes you'll fail on talent. That can be, forgiven. Failing on application, hard work, that's unforgiving in my eyes.
Yeah. Well, I don't think anybody would ever fault you, and particularly in your Derry career. I mean, as a supporter, I think that was the one thing people always said. You give 100%. In terms of the I would say, what you would call the big move to Sunderland.
Yeah.
Did you have any sense of what was going on? Did it come as a bit of a surprise? Was it?
Yeah, the Sunderland one came as a surprise because obviously it was a Premier League club, and for a fee for a League of Ireland player, it was quite a big fee. But I wasn't surprised about going across the water because at that stage, like, it was basically every week there was a different club I was being linked with, and there was a lot of pressure that season because obviously I started well, but every game in there was like a scout basically coming to see me from basically a new club every week, sometimes 2 or 3 going to one game. So that was a lot of pressure, obviously, as you can imagine. But there was pressure that I wrote that I thrived on, and yeah, the Sunderland one obviously being a Premier League club, and that came out of kind of the blue. But obviously, look, it obviously worked out well, and obviously, no looking back.
Yeah, and I mean, again, because supporters always are intrigued by the backroom stuff and what goes on. And was it a straightforward thing to see once Sunderland said, "James, we want you"? Was that it for you, or was it?
Oh, it was a mad story. Like I said, the Sunderland one came out of the blue. I was actually in a hotel in Galway. We were playing Galway that night, and we just had the pre-match meal. And Stephen called me and said, "You're not playing tonight." And I was like, "Why?" And he said, "We just had a bid of 350,000 accepted from Sunderland." And as you can imagine, it was hearing that was like, I was a bit stunned. I was obviously over the moon, and then I kind of had to go on because after pre-match, you kind of have like an hour's kind of wait before the team meetings. We're sitting about the hotel, and obviously, like, this is the best news ever. So they go on and telling the other lads, and I'm going to Sunderland. I'm going to the Premier League, and look, we had a great squad there, a great bunch of lads, and they're obviously over the moon for me. But that feeling was just like, it's kind of hard to describe that feeling because you're achieving a dream. You're achieving a dream. You're now going to become a Premier League player. So yeah, it was mad.
That was August time, when it was like August.
That was August.
And was it just a case then from Galway back to the house in Derry, and then next thing is you're in Sunderland?
I remember Stephen actually put me on the bench that night, but he was instructed by the Derry board that I wasn't
sure
at any
cotton wool.
Under any circumstances I wasn't to come on, and
no.
I remember like just wanted the fairy tale, like kind of one last appearance and that, and I was doing everything and to try and get on, and it was a comfortable victory in the end, but Stephen just wasn't having any of it. So
no, absolutely.
I've got some kind of unfinished business with Derry, which hopefully I can finish one day.
And in terms of Sunderland, can you mind your debut with Sunderland?
I can. It was that 10 months was it was madness. But basically Sunderland, like, I think I was on the bench for like under Steve Bruce for like 12 games in a row, and he never brought me on because the club were kind of struggling per start of the season, and he just didn't want to put me in that environment. And even though I was chomping at the bit, but Martin O'Neill came in, first game in charge. We were getting beat 1-0 with Blackburn.
Yeah,
I think he brought me on the 7th minute, and obviously had a positive impact. We won 2-1, and I was thinking,
I actually can mind that. The sky, so it was great. Do you think there was something? I've often wondered this myself personally. Was there something that maybe Martin O'Neill, Derry man, will give him a go here? Was it something they'd seen in the training?
No, I don't. I think. I don't know about I wouldn't say the sentiment option of being obviously from both Derry men. I just think I remember played in the midweek we played United reserves, and they had Pogba and that playing, and we beat them 6-3, and I got 3 assists that night. And I was very just direct, and I just think he was obviously known for always liking his wingers being direct and that. So I think I made an impact that night, and then we were getting beat, and it was just was thinking, why not? And he put me on, and
Absolutely.
It worked out well.
And you see that period, obviously Steve Bruce, and then he gets sacked, and Martin O'Neill. You see it in the background, obviously for you, this was like, something completely different. You were, lived in Craig, very tight community. And then the next thing is you're a Premier League football, and everybody has their view, of what that means. How did you sort of just ground yourself and,
I just think I grounded because I've obviously had a good family and friends around me who, even if I did kind of veer off, always kept me grounded, wouldn't allow it to happen. And, look, I'm a Derry lad through and through. I came from nothing, so I wasn't going to all of a sudden become this big time Charlie. Do you know what I mean? I think my mum and dad still give me a slap around the head if that was the case, if I try to get above myself. But no, I think that's always been something that's really helped me throughout my career. I think again it's kind of downfall of a lot of young lads. They play a game or two, and then all of a sudden they think they've made it. They could become ahead of themselves, and the kind of hard work, application, all that kind of goes out the window because other things take over. And that's kind of never been the case for me. And like I said, obviously family and friends have been crucial in ensuring that never happens. Like they're the first to tell me that I've been crap. If I've had a bad game, or just be honest with me, and I appreciate that. There's not a lot of yes men or women around.
Yeah, and even later in your career, I mean, obviously you married Aaron and the children. I'm sure that in itself was also
Aaron's
sense of an anchor, like, if you know what I mean.
Aaron's been absolutely amazing. Aaron was obviously a bit younger than me, so Aaron moved over for university, which was obviously a big step for her to Newcastle.
Yeah,
we were living together. So, but no, Aaron's been absolutely amazing. Without Aaron too, like, she's definitely helped along the way. Obviously, like, been in England now almost 10 years, and I think Aaron's been a big part in me having that kind of longevity, and then obviously having the kids. That's definitely grounded me as well. Some of the kind of immature stuff I would have done earlier in my career. That's kind of having my first daughter, Ali Mae. I think that kind of knocked all that in the head and kind of matured me and made me grow up a lot quicker than I probably would have, to be honest.
Yeah, and you see, in terms of I'm not sure what your experience of this must be, but you often read sometimes about footballers, their family, their children are at school, or they're in a particular place, and then a transfer comes in. Would that have had an influence in some of your choices?
No, to be honest, Ruben. Aaron said from day one, like, look, this is my career. She'll follow me everywhere. Sometimes you don't have a choice, really. If a move comes that's too good to turn down, you have to accept it. The good thing about kids, or especially young kids, they adapt really well. Mine's have adapted really well. We're got a long-term contract now here at Stoke. We're happy, we're settled, and for the foreseeable future, especially short term, we're settled and they're settled. So after this, look, we'll more likely move home. And like I said, they're very young yet, so they'll get the stability when we eventually move home.
James, can I bring you on now to playing for Ireland? And I remember at the time, there was a Trapattoni, I think, was the manager, but there was all that sort of sense that he, was very cautious. And from your perspective, how did you see it, and then how did you feel when you got the call up?
It was another strange one. Obviously, at the time, I was obviously flying with Sunderland, and I was let out of the initial squad in February, and there was a kind of bit of a media uproar. And then we played Stoke and Arsenal within the same week after the squad was announced. And I scored in both games, and all of a sudden I was put under the squad. So obviously, immense pride and honor. Obviously, being in the squad. It was another dream come true, probably the biggest dream, to be honest. And then, but I was going away because I wasn't in the initial squad, so I don't think I was going to play. But obviously, just going there and just wearing the Ireland gear and wearing the Ireland badge, on your chest, obviously, is special itself. So I wasn't expecting to play. So obviously, when he told me it's 7 8 minutes, so I got 12 minutes. So he told me to warm up. I was coming on, and obviously that was surreal. It was amazing. Like, I was just so excited because at that time I was just playing with so much confidence. So I just felt I could do anything. So I remember getting stripped and obviously walking out the touchline. And as soon as I walked out the touchline, the whole stadium would kind of give me a stand ovation. And before I've even kicked the ball, I'm thinking, well,
that's it.
They're expecting big things here, so I better not disappoint. But I just that I remember there was a bus load went down from Derry that night.
Yeah.
My mum and dad and that, like, literally every single family member, even ones that didn't even know I had.
Yeah.
Became
McClean's overnight. They became McClean's overnight.
McClean's and McGinley's overnight. There were that many that I didn't even know I had. So no, but look, it was special for them, and it was obviously special for me. So it was just, I think, that moment I stepped on the pitch, a lot of people's dreams kind of came true that night, and yeah, it's up there with the best moments, definitely, in my football career, because you only get that, you only make your debut once. You know what I mean? So absolutely. Yeah, that was unbelievable.
And the Euros 2016, would that have been a special time?
It would have been. I was probably, the first Euros in 2012 was kind of, I didn't really take it all on because everything was new to me. And looking back now, I've got one jersey from that tournament. I've got no boots, I've got no shin pads, I've got no memorabilia. I've got one jersey, and kind of gave everything away. That's kind of the mindset back in. It was just like, didn't really savor anything.
Yeah.
And obviously the tournament itself, results wise, was kind of a bit of a, less said the better. It was kind of a terrible tournament for us. But 2016 now was a completely different experience. Obviously, look, we competed well. They had that night in Italy against Lille. We ran a very good French side, which went on to be beaten finalists, very close. And just, I've kept all the memorabilia from that night. I was obviously a more experienced member, the squad as well. So, yeah, the two, obviously, like I said, 2012 was special, but 2016 was definitely a lot more special. And then obviously, there's a goal now of hopefully making this one in next year, which is going to be staged in Dublin. So I think that'll top a lot. But
I picked the wrong match. I picked the Belgium match. I picked the wrong one.
That was
so
less said about that, the better. It wasn't a very.
No, I mean, the only consolation is, you see, I've seen a lot of good players on the pitch.
They're all world class players, so they were a joy to watch.
Yeah, and we've talked the last half hour or so about your football career, and just your early background. But if people in Derry are proud of you as a footballer, I think they're equally proud of you as a person. Just over the years, you've never forgot people. You've been very good to people. You've stood up for yourself. You've stood up for what you believe in and your integrity. Yeah. And even in terms of your own family circumstances, I think you've done a lot in recent times, even around awareness around autism and things like that. So I'm just wondering what that means to you, just as a person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, look, being a Derry lad, look, I think, look, you take that. It's me. It's installed in me. I take that everywhere I go, and I think it's one thing I'm very proud of. Like I've never forgotten where I've come from, and I think that's definitely crucial. It makes me who I am. I'm very proud to be an Irishman. I'm proud to be a dairy man. So no, look, if I'm in a position, where I'm kind of, more fortunate in knowledge of certain things, and if I can help in any way, people who are less fortunate than me, because like I said, like we weren't. Don't get me wrong, we weren't poor, but we weren't. We didn't have a lot either. We got by, and I think a lot of people in Derry, that's the case. So, look, people always need help, and if I'm in a situation where I can help out, and especially if you can't help your own, who can you help? So, no, I think it's important, because I always see myself, if I was in that situation and I needed the help, I'd be very grateful if someone could help me. So, if I can do that, then obviously then I will.
Yeah, and even in recent times, I mean, I think you've actually heightened the debate around abuse.
Yeah.
What's acceptable, what's not acceptable, and I think it takes people like yourself. As a matter of fact, I've said this to many people. I think you've won that argument. Not only have you won that argument, but you laid the ground for our people, in my opinion, they say that's wrong, and I'm going to do something about it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, look, first and foremost, like I said, I'm proud of who I am, and I'm proud of my heritage, and and where I'm from. It's obviously it's well highlighted where it's the history of there. You know what I mean, and what's happened. So yeah, look, like I said, I take that everywhere in me. So I'm proud of that fact. So if someone's going to challenge me on where I'm from, and I'm going to fight fire with fire. And it was never, look, I just am who I am. Like I never set out to try and do this or do that, or set a pathway for other people coming through. Look, if what I've gone through, what I endured, if I can help younger lads from a similar background coming through in the future, that they don't have to go through that, then I'm more than happy to be the person who takes on that burden, and be the kind of the shield for that, and and that's, I think that would obviously be, it would make me proud, knowing that I was kind of, if that's the case, then I'm the one kind of got the ball rolling, where like I can take the abuse. You know what I mean? It's not nice, but I'm thick-skinned enough, and I've had it long enough now where I'm used to it and I can take it. But if it stops other people coming through, then obviously you know that would make me proud.
Yeah, and you have made a lot of people proud, let me tell you, and made a lot of people stronger as a result of it. If just now, maybe in terms of this conversation, the future, what's the future? Obviously you have a good contract with Stoke. Coaching in the future, anything like that, or any fixed plans?
Well, look, I always said, like, obviously, if I've got a contract here at Stoke now, which has another good few years left on it yet. So obviously, club level, that's my ambition, is obviously to do as well as I can here for Stoke. Help the club get back in the Premier League. The club want to play in the Premier League. I want to play in the Premier League again. Yeah. So short term, of club wise, that's the aim. At the national level, there's another European Championship now, which we're very close to. I'm on, 26 caps away from 100 caps. So that would be obviously the two obvious kind of what he called, and then obviously I think I'm 13th at the minute in the all-time top goal scorers for Ireland. So obviously breaking the top 10, I think I'm only 2 or 3 goals away from doing that. So just all little kind of individual kind of aims at the minute in terms of short term, but long term, look, I want obviously finished my career there. It's, you know, I started there. I said the day I left that I want to finish my career there. I want to kick my last ball and my career playing there. So obviously that's on the agenda as well. Something I really want to do.
46.
At 47, well, it depends on depends how long the legs
You'll have the energy. You'll have the energy at 46, only.
Well, they feel good at the minute, so we'll see how the legs go. But
I'm just going to ask you a couple of quick fire ones now.
No
like,
problem.
don't worry about sort of having to think too long about them.
No problem.
In terms of the biggest influence in your football career, who do you say had the biggest influence in your football career?
I think the obvious ones, obviously, your parents, aren't you? Because they're the ones that support you from day one. They're the ones that buy your football boots, take you to your games. You know, So it's boring, but your parents.
And then in football, who would it be in football?
You know, obviously a few stand out. Obviously Stephen Kenny, Derry, Martin O'Neill, and this and that. But it all started with Trojans. Do you know what I mean? So I would probably say Women Curtin, to be honest, because those are the years that you learn your fundamentals, and that's where you obviously you get your start in football. So yeah, I would say probably Women Curtin football wise. Yeah.
There you go. Best goal you've scored.
Have to be the Wales goal, wouldn't it? I think that hands down there, the Wales goal.
Yeah, and your best football in memory.
Derry City debut, Premier League debut, Ireland debut, but I think the one tops all would be obviously being the first Derry man ever to captain Ireland. I think that speaks for itself. So yeah, definitely that one.
And the favorite player that you played with at club level.
Favorite player I played with. I think the players I had the best relationship with on a football field would be Danny Lafferty.
Yeah.
I think that year at Derry City, it earned both me and him a move. Brilliant. It's just like we were kind of sharing the same brain. So I think that was I would say Danny.
Danny. And your at international level, your favorite player you played with?
Robbie Keane. It's just what the man done. You know what I mean? Like, I was kind of playing with Robbie towards the end of his career, so he kind of had lost that explosive pace he kind of had when he was younger, but he was always a step ahead, football-wise, and up in his head. Like, it was, he was still a joy to play with and train. You couldn't get near him. He was just a class act.
And your most difficult opponent at club level?
Club level? Gee, where's that many? I'm going to be biased here because obviously I was a United player or a United fan growing up. So a club level.
You're spoiling the night now for me.
I would say Michael Carrick was always very good.
Yeah,
that didn't very lose a ball. That the year United won the league as well, with Van Persie, he was kind of unplayable that year. So I would say Van Persie and Michael Carrick.
And at international level, when you're on the pitch, and you looked over and you say,
that's an easy one.
Playing against this guy.
The night I scored my first Ireland goal, actually, we got beat 5-1 with Portugal in the MetLife Stadium. And Portugal were preparing for the 2014 World Cup, and Ronaldo was playing. So, I'm a huge Ronaldo fan. So, hands down Ronaldo.
Not bad company.
Not bad company.
What is your favourite form of relaxation when you're away from all the glare?
Just spending time in the house with the Waynes, do you know what I mean? It's like, I think that's just, that can't be topped up, but believe it or not, form of relaxation for me is boxing as well. So
have they say thank God you never became a boxer?
I think no,
I watched some of
probably
the
too.
videos saying there's somebody has their head on their shoulders that wouldn't have had in an hour.
No, I think it's kind of two contrasting ways of relaxation. But just spend time with the family and in the house, and then obviously boxing as well. I find that strange enough relaxing.
And then your favourite holiday destination, a big long season, wee bit of relaxation. Where
I love going to Dubai. Erin's she's kind of fed up with it now because we basically like we go every year, and it's just like I'm one of those. I'm set in my ways. If I like something, I'll go. Same as a restaurant or something. If I like something, you know what you're getting, so I'll go. But she's trying to get us to explore all her things. But no, I think me personally, I just love Dubai. You guaranteed the weather, good food, so can't really complain.
And a good trainer as well to do the boxing.
Good trainer as well. He's
I noticed that as well.
He's not as good as Connor, my friend Connor and Derry, but he'll do the job
you can take him with me. You can take him with me.
He'd enjoy that food.
I'm sure he would. James, again, thank you very much. The fella,
not a problem.
People watching on the night will appreciate that your time. Given I know you're in training now for pre-season, even though like last season's just over, so to speak. And I hope that your 100th cap is in the Aviva Stadium and will be more than a slow down this time.
I think that would
throw on a few McCartneys as well. Okay. James, thank you very much. Thank you very, very much.
Take care.
Okay.